of course, we just went through all that rookie stuff. We were ahead of the curve, and the only way to stay ahead of the curve is with our segment every week here, Prospecting with the Welsh. That's right. We're going to take a look down on the farm. Some of them young bucks coming up here might make an impact on them Major League Baseball seasons pretty soon. Welsh, let's talk about some of those names here, and let's start with Roman Anthony, because people were asking us, why aren't you talking about Roman Anthony last week? Well, Welsh, maybe there's a little bit more to talk about this week.
He's had this kind of up and down, but the trajectory has been moving up early minor league season. He got sent down. He had this big 2-homer game right out the chute, and then his average started to sink. And that was kind of the big question of what's going to go on with Roman Anthony this season, because you gotta get AAA figured out, especially if the Red Sox are going to consider making any big moves at some point. Christian Campbell kind of, he's getting it done. He's top 2 in Rookie of the Year voting right now. Second base has been a little bit squirrely, which actually, I'm going to throw this out here, might put a tiny bit of wrinkle in Roman Anthony being the guy soon. This wasn't actually planned for it, but Marcelo Mayer has been playing some second base at AAA. I could foresee that they move Mayer in, not our one, the good one. No. They're going to move him into second base, and he could be the second baseman, and Campbell could move over and start moving into an outfield spot. If that happens, it does put a question into the timeline of Roman Anthony, but Roman Anthony is meeting some of those questions, or he's answering some of those questions early on. It was April 10th. He was hitting just a $176. Roman Anthony now, sure, obviously season, so your average can jump up, but he's up to 267 so far, which is a nice big jump from where he was, because things were actually 273 as I'm looking at it now. 4 homers, 2 stolen bases, and over 400 OBP. Power starting to, he's had another 2-homer game more recently. Roman Anthony is starting to get to this level, and this is what's most important, that he could be the call-up if something happens. If this team were to make a move, I don't think Willie or Brady would go anywhere, but you still got Yoshida looming. If there was an injury or something, he could make the move. But just keep in mind that Marcelo could be a reason that Anthony is held back even further, because if they want Campbell out of that nasty second base, then I think that would be for Mayer to come in, and then we might be looking at Roman Anthony later. But it's important to talk about the number 1 prospect in baseball has made a big jump up as of recent.
All right, let's talk about Jordan Lawlar, the shortstop prospect of the Arizona Diamondbacks, who's been playing around the diamond a little bit more this year, and I think that might be the secret sauce to getting him called up. So what are your thoughts on Lawlar currently as we stand here towards the end of April?
We really thought a couple weeks ago that we were going to see him, but it ended up being Tim Tawa. I will say the Diamondbacks are silly still with the Garrett Hampson stuff. We should see Lawlar, but the problem is they got to get every day at bats for Lawlar. You got to see him on the regular. Right now, you've got Ketel, who's close to coming back. You've got Perdomo, who signed the extension. So where do you play him? The weirdness is Lawlar has been playing more second base. They moved him over to second. So unless you're going to move like Ketel to the outfield to maybe help his hamstring, I'm not sure, and you put Lawlar at second, I don't know where the spacing is. And you would like to see Lawlar on the outfield. But he is absolutely murdering the ball right now. He actually has as many hits in the minors as Nick Kurtz, and is the same age. He's 22. He's 20. You forget that he's still so young. Yeah. He has as many hits. He's 22. He has 5 homers. 8 stolen bases, very aggressive, a 325 average with a 423 OBP and an over 1,000 OPS. He is destroying AAA, which is a hitter-friendly environment. We would love to see him in the majors soon, but the only thing is you would have loved to see him maybe playing some outfield. So I don't know how this is going to look. Maybe the Diamondbacks are going to shock us and move Ketel off a second or something like that. But Lawlar is hitting, and he definitely could be someone that could be up with the Diamondbacks soon.
Another prospect here, this one in the Dodgers system here, is Alex Freeland, who right now is just on an absolute tear. Now, he's only got 1 home run, but he has 28 hits and 85 at-bats to start the season, hitting 329, the OBP over 400, the OPS over 900. So he's been terrific. Do you think the Dodgers are going to start trying to find a way to maybe get that bat in their lineup?
The Dodgers make it super, super difficult because obviously, you've got like Mookie in the infield, and how many young guys would they commit to? But we have seen them do it before. I mean, Pajas is there. We saw James Outman before. If there's a player, I think it's Alex Freeland, who Alex Freeland can play multiple infield spots. He could play second. He could play short. I think he can play third. He's a hitting machine. He has more hits than Nick Kurtz or Jordan Lawlar. In fact, He is no one 23 or under has more hits in the minor leagues than Alex Freeland right now. Stealing some bases. He's got 6 early on and over 400 OBP, almost a OBP 100 points higher than his actual batting average. The RBIs, he could be at the bottom of the order. So maybe that puts a question into like what the overall fantasy value would be. But the high average and multi-position eligibility, I think, is something that could get him with the Dodgers there soon. I think the most important, kind of like the Agustin Ramirez, it's like, listen, if he gets called up, he really might be worth it. He might be worth picking up in that Dodgers lineup, even if he'll hit low, because he is an absolute hitting machine. He's going to steal some bases later on if you were hitting, let's say, 8 and you were putting yourself in RBI spots. And it's also really good pull hitter friendly for right-handed hitters ballpark if you were there. Alex Freeland is someone that needs to be at least on radars if he gets called up.
Yeah, and especially if Max Muncy continues to hit under 200. He's in 191 right now with 4 RBI and 13 hits on the year. And I know he's a streaky player and he can get hot sometimes, but at the same time, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the time where he does not rebound. And if there's flexibility there between Betts and Edman and Freeland, all of a sudden good things could happen. Before we head out here, just an update on Nick Kurtz and Bubba Chandler, guys that we're anticipating. We're just watching the clock, watching the Twitter machine, trying to wait to find out when these guys might get called up. So Chandler, Kurtz, what's your latest beat on those guys?
Yeah, just as an update for everyone to know, 321 average on Nick Kurtz, still leads the minors in homers with 7. Ridiculous on the hits front. As I told you, he's near the tippy top. He's tied with Lawlar, 1 less than Alex Freeland, 1,000 OPS. I kind of think the twofold. The only thing that's really holding him back is the strikeouts, but there also might be just that they're figuring out the position flexibility. I think we saw Rooker 2 or 3 times last week play in the outfield, which is huge. They're telling us his story is soon. Nick Kurtz's strikeouts are a bit of a problem, but I just don't think it's going to hold back with that A's team winning. So he continues to hit. He's not running into any bad streak. Nick Kurtz should be up this week. Nick Kurtz should be there this week without question, or we riot.
All right, or we riot. There you have it, everybody. Make sure you check out all the Welsh prospect news you can possibly handle over FantasyPros.com. And of course, join us every single Monday live for Prospecting with the Welsh right here on Fantasy Pros MLB.